welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And we are back having fun at the arcade in part 2 of our look at these fun video game palaces where you can spend lots of time, lots of money, but have lots of healthy and fun competition with your friends. Now yesterday, I mentioned some of my favorite old-style arcade games that I used to play. I didn't mention some of the more popular ones that I also like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Galaga or Galaga. I'm not sure how to say it. That was another fun one. Did you have some favorite games at the arcade when you were younger?
Yeah, definitely. Those games are still popular today.
They are, yeah.
They're classics.
Yep.
I have so many favorite games, but there's one that I would like to talk about.
Okay.
We know that actually the first ever game that was invented was Pong.
That was one of the first popular one.
Right?
Yeah.
But recently, I found in a real life arcade
No way.
a real life Pong table.
Whoa, a table. So you can sit down and play with someone across from you.
Yes,
Those are the best.
But it's not a monitor.
What?
Yeah, the actual Pong, like the blocker
The
and
paddle?
the paddle
Yeah.
and the little block.
Yeah.
They were 3D and right there in front of you.
What? How does it work? How
I
does
don't
it
know,
move?
but it was
Magic.
so cool. It was probably magnets or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
But it was so cool because to see a game that was a video game and then right there in front of you.
That is very cool. I wonder how much that would be like an antique.
Yeah.
That would be a very expensive old piece of video game
History,
art and history.
an art, yeah. I would love to have one at my house.
That's really cool. Some of the ones I remember really catching my attention were the first Star Wars games. Because most of the arcade games are, it's kind of the size of a small refrigerator and you stand up. The Star Wars ones, you would sit down. It kind of looked like you were inside one of the X-Wing fighters from Star Wars. And you could fly and go up and down. It was kind of 3D. Oh, I spent a lot of money on that game. And I don't think I ever got to blow up the Death Star. It was just too hard. But it was fun losing nonetheless. All right, we're gonna still have some fun at the arcade, so let's get into part 2 and see what we're talking about today. Clyde and Lorena are at an arcade. It's pretty crowded. That means we'll have to wait to play some games.
Don't worry, we'll make the most of our time here.
Okay. Before we do anything else, we have to set our spending limit and stick to it.
Yeah, we spent way too much last time.
Today we are talking about part 2 of having fun at the arcade. Now, yesterday, Mike and I, we shared some of the fun that we had at the arcade, or sometimes still have. Today, we are going to hear about Clyde and Lorena.
Okay.
They are at an arcade.
Interesting. So let's join them as they have a fun visit to the local arcade. Now, Clyde, he begins the dialogue and he looks around as they walk into the arcade. I imagine all these noises going on are all around. Clyde says, "It's pretty crowded. It's quite busy in the arcade. That means," he says, "we'll have to wait to play some games." That is very cool. If you've never been to an arcade, I just got reminded the Disney movie Tron.
Oh.
The old one from like 1983. I think it's on Disney Plus. So if you want to know what the old arcades in the 1980s were like, have a watch of that movie. At the very beginning, it's kind of set in an arcade. And they were very crowded. They were super popular. And I guess they're probably getting popular again. So if something's crowded, just means there's a lot of people there, right?
Yeah, well, you just reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
So that takes place in an arcade too.
That's true.
And even in the movie, you can see that it was crowded with all these characters from the different games.
Exactly.
Okay, so crowded is an adjective to describe a place that is just full of people, and it also suggests that there isn't a lot for movement, a lot of room for movement. So sometimes it's really squishy, there's people everywhere, and it's packed, okay? So an example would be, the subway was so crowded, I couldn't even get on the train.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's too crowded.
Yeah, it
People
was.
mountain, people sea.
Okay, so Lorena tells Clyde, don't worry, we'll make the most of our time here.
Okay, so you might have to be patient and wait for someone to finish playing a game before you get a turn. But that's true. There's many games there, so you can make the most of your time. You can enjoy yourself as much as possible. Clyde agrees. He says, okay, I won't worry about it. We'll spend some time. We'll eventually play the games we want. But he says, before we do anything else, we have to set our spending limit and stick to it.
Ooh.
Good man, Clive, and a great plan there. Go there and say, okay, I have 300 NT in my pocket or something. Even if you have more, you can kind of say, I have 300 NT in my video arcade budget. That is my spending limit. That's the maximum I can spend. Once I spend all that money, time to go home, come back another day.
I think that's a really important thing to do at an arcade, because sometimes you get there, it's so overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many things that you want to play.
For sure.
You definitely want to set a limit.
Or you keep dying at a certain point. You're like, one more time. This time I know this time I'm gonna beat it. And then you end up spending way too much money.
Okay, so Lorena says, yeah, we spent way too much last time. So obviously they've made that mistake before.
Definitely. So yes, do set a limit. When you set something, it's kind of like deciding on something before you do it. Okay, so you might set a time to meet. You might set a limit or a budget for an amount of money that you want to have. You might set an amount of calories that you eat in a day if you're on a diet. You know, oh, I can't have pizza for dinner because I had a hamburger for lunch and I don't want to eat too much junk food. So you're sort of deciding something. You're maybe choosing a number or choosing a place where you don't want to go past.
Right.
You can set your clock or set a bedtime. You might put it on an actual clock or an alarm, or you might just say 12 o'clock is the time I go to bed every night. I set that in my mind. That is the number that I am going to use kind of as a limit.
Right. So a limit is basically kind of a restriction on something that you don't want to pass. So it could be a size, or it can also be an amount of something. And it's an amount of something that maybe you're allowed to do, that you're allowed to spend, or something that's possible. So you're setting an end point. That way you don't go over it.
Right.
Okay, so an example would be, let's say we went to a candy store.
Okay.
Okay, so we should set our limit to $10 when we go to the candy store.
10 US dollars or NT dollars?
Well, I was thinking of US dollars.
Oh, okay. 10 NT is way
too
low.
little.
So yes, you'll set your spending limit. You can also set a time limit too, right? If you take an exam at school, the teacher might say you have 30 minutes to finish the test. They have set that time limit. And I see we are going over our time limit, the one we set. So let's take a break. I'll accept the blame for that. I kept saying just one more game.
That won't happen this time. I'll make sure of it.
Great. So which game do you want to hit first?
That's easy. Let's go dancing.
Welcome back. Clyde and Lorena are at the arcade. They're at the crowded arcade. But Lorena says, don't worry, we're still going to make the most of our time. We're still going to have fun. Except Clyde reminds Lorena that they should set a limit for how much money they're going to spend at the arcade today. So let's find out what happens next?
That's right. Lorena just reminded Clyde that last time at the arcade, they spent too much money. That's why she wanted to set that limit. Now, thinking about that last time when they left the arcade with empty pockets, feeling maybe a little bit bad about all the money they spend, Clyde says, my fault. He says, I'll accept the blame for that. All right, that last time we spent all that money, that was my fault. Why? He says, I kept saying, just one more game. I think I've said those 4 words many times in my life. Just one more game, just one more try. He kept saying that, so they kept putting money into the machine, more money than they should have, and that caused them to go over their spending limit. He is accepting the blame. Here we are using the word blame as a noun. It can be a verb. Now, if you do something wrong, and I know you did something wrong, and I want to make everyone else know that you did something wrong, I will blame you. We were late because you slept in. You were so slow in getting ready to leave, and that's why we were late. So I am blaming you. I am pointing at you and saying you are the cause of the problem. You are why the bad thing happened. And that, what I'm saying is blame. I am blaming you, or I am giving you the blame. I am giving you the responsibility. I am making you the reason why something happened. So if someone blames you, they are giving you the blame. And if you're honest and you're like, yeah, you're right, I did sleep in, I was slow, it was my fault, then you accept the blame. You say, I'm sorry, it was me, but it won't happen again. And that's kind of what Lorena says this time.
Well, it's nice to see that Clyde takes responsibility for his mistake. But Lorena will help Clyde out.
Yes.
She's going to make sure that it won't happen this time. So she says, that won't happen this time. I'll make sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to watch you, or maybe I will keep all the coins and tokens.
Famous last words. Let's see if that actually happens in the end. Because sometimes you get into the game and it's so hard to stop. But anyways, yes. That is a good plan for now. Clyde says, great, that sounds like a good plan. Lorena will be the cop. She'll be the policeman who says, right, time to stop. Get out of here. Don't spend any more money. He thinks that's a good idea. Great. So which game do you want to hit first? Bang! Bang! No, they're not going to hit. Don't hit the games. You'll hurt your hand and you'll hurt the game and you'll probably get kicked out of the video arcade, right? So no, if you're going to hit something, you're not actually striking it with your fist or with your hand, or no, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So basically, Clyde is asking Lorena, what game should we play first?
Right.
Okay, which one should we hit first? And Lorena says, that's easy. Let's go dancing. So she wants to do the dance machine. Okay.
Nice.
So like you said, hitting in this case does not mean physical contact and hurting somebody on purpose. It's kind of an informal figure of speech, talking about trying to reach some place or something, or even waiting for something to happen. Sometimes, you know, we're waiting to see if things are gonna hit the wall. You know, that's when something bad happens. Right? So in this case, let's hit the first game, which is let's Dance Dance Revolution.
That's probably exactly it. Yeah, if you go to a place with lots of things to do or lots of places to go, you might use this term, right? You go to the shopping mall. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's hit the food court. And then we'll hit the store, the shoe store. I want to buy some shoes. And at the end, we'll hit the movie theater and we'll watch a movie. So you're just kind of going from one place to another, doing things or entering places, stuff like that. I think it's time for us. We've hit the end. We've hit the end of our article or our dialogue for today. But don't worry, we'll be back with Lorena and Clyde tomorrow at the video arcade. And we just hope that they still have some money in their pockets. It's possible that they won't. If it was me, I wouldn't. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye. Clyde and Lorena are at an arcade. It's pretty crowded. That means we'll have to wait to play some games.
Don't worry, we'll make the most of our time here.
Okay, before we do anything else, we have to set our spending limit and stick to it.
Yeah, we spent way too much last time.
I'll accept the blame for that. I kept saying just one more game.
That won't happen this time. I'll make sure of it.
Great. So which game do you want to hit first?
That's easy. Let's go dancing.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 set 动词设定建立，它的三态同形 set. The boss has set new limits on spending. 老板设定了新的支出限额。下一个单字 limit 名词上限限制。There's a limit on how much we can spend on the project. 这个专案的花费有限制。下一个单字 blame 名词过失责任。Henry took the blame for the mistake. Henry 承担了错误的责任。最后一个单字 hit 动词去前往，它的动词三态也是同形 hit. Eric hits the gym every morning before work. Eric 每天上班前都去健身房。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 make the most of something 充分利用某事物。Most 在这里是一个名词，意思是最大量，可以用 best 来替换使用。我们来看看这个例句。I try to make the most of my time off by traveling to new places. 我尽量充分利用休假去新的地方旅游。下一个文法 stick to something 坚持某事。Stick to 是一个不可以分的动词片语哦。我们来看看这个例句。Stick to your goal and you'll achieve it. 坚持你的目标，你将会实现它。最后一个文法 way too 太过怎么样了？这是一个强调用法，它的后面接副词或形容词。way 在这里是一个副词，意思是过度、大幅。我们来看看这个例句。The movie is way too scary to watch alone. 这部电影太可怕了，不能独自观看。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. Say, Kiki, when we are saying words, we have to make sure that we are saying them clearly.
Oh, so we have to look out for our pronunciation. Well, today, let's work on that. Let's work on some pronunciations. Okay, please read this sentence.
Okay. Don't be such a fool.
Don't be such a fool.
Don't be such a fool.
Don't be such a fool. But how about this?
I'm so full. I'm so full.
I'm so full.
Full.
Oh.
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 Full.
Full.
Very good. Last one.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
She likes to travel in the fall.
She likes to travel in the fall.
She likes to travel in the fall.
Very good. She likes to travel in the fall. What have we learned today?
Welcome to today's pronunciations. Now, we have 3 very similar sounding words, but they are very different. Okay, so our first one is don't be such a fool. We will notice the double O, so we know it's kind of like the word pool with a P, right? So when you see the O, make sure to pucker those lips and go fool. Okay, don't say full because that brings us to our second word, which is I'm so full. Okay, and let's put a P back into that F and say pull, like you pull a door open. Okay, so you'll notice that your lips are puckered still, but instead of an ooh sound, you have an sound. So I'm so full. Then we have our last one, which is she likes to travel in the fall. And I'm sure a lot of you know how to say basketball. So you will notice ALL makes our jaw relaxed and we have the sound, followed by the LL makes a fall sound. Okay, so she likes to travel in the fall. That's all we have for today. KiWi later.